Colleen Ritzer was born on the 13th of May 1989 to Peggy and Thomas Ritzer and was one of 3 children. She had a younger sister called Laura and a younger brother called Daniel. When she was growing up, she was known to be extremely smart and constantly achieved top grades at school, and she knew that she wanted to become a teacher when she was an adult. She soon went on to college where she studied maths and then continued on to university, where she graduated from and was immediately offered a job at Danver's High School as a maths teacher. The high school was in Massachusetts, located 25 miles away from the home she lived at with her parents, and she found the 25-mile distance ideal. When she started her job at Danver's High School, she was teaching algebra, and there, she was a popular and well-liked teacher among the students, always welcoming them and offering them all the opportunity to speak to her about anything that could be troubling them, and all of the students had good things to say about her as she had always acted like a friend to them all. On the 22nd of October 2013, Colleen Ritzer never returned home from work that evening. Her parents began driving around looking for Colleen and were calling people that she knew to see if they had seen or heard from her, but no one had. That same day, another person was reported missing to the police, a 14-year-old student called Philip Chisholm. Philip had only just started at Danver's High School after recently moving to Massachusetts from Tennessee after his parents divorced. He was also in Colleen's algebra class. After he started at Danver's High School, he immediately joined the football team as he had a deep passion for football, but otherwise, he struggled to settle in at school and didn't make any friends there. Normally, he would be home by 4:30 p.m., but that day, his mom waited for him to come home but he didn't, so at 6:34 p.m., she called the police to report him missing. Taking the report seriously, police attended his school to ask staff if they had seen him, and his football coach explained that Philip had not turned up for football practice that day. The head teacher then sent out an email to all members of staff to inform them that Philip Chisholm was missing. A reply was soon sent back to the head teacher to say that maths teacher, Colleen Ritzer, was also missing. Danver's High School then informed police that their teacher was also missing, and police noted the connection between the two, that he had been in her algebra class. At 9 p.m., Colleen's dad drove to Danver's High School and her family then went into her classroom to see if they could find out where she had gone, and they noticed that none of her belongings were in her classroom. To try and locate both Colleen and Philip, police pinged their phones to find their last known locations. Colleen's phone pinged at a location only 20 minutes away from the school, so police started searching that area, and soon after, they found her empty handbag on the street floor, with nothing inside of it. Philip's phone pinged at a cinema 30 minutes away, but after searching the area of the cinema, they found nothing. While the searches were taking place, police were looking around the school and noticed spots of blood in the toilets that were on the same floor as Colleen's classroom. Police then took all of the school's CCTV, and after reviewing the footage, they found something concerning. A camera that was facing her classroom doorway captured Colleen leaving her classroom at 3 p.m. as she smiles and waves, then walks down the corridor. A boy is then seen leaving her classroom and looks around, watching Colleen enter the toilets. He goes back inside the classroom and comes back out with his hood over his head and walks into the same toilet that Colleen went into, as he's holding a pair of gloves and puts them on as he enters the toilets. He stays inside the toilets for 11 minutes, then a female student walks in and quickly walks back out. Philip then exits the toilets quickly and walks down the stairs and leaves the school building, and when he's outside, he changed from his blue hoodie into a red jacket, then goes back into the school and runs around the school. He is then captured on CCTV taking a wheelie bin into the school and wheeling it into the toilets, staying in there for 6 minutes, and is then seen dragging it out and by then is wearing a mask. CCTV shows him wheel the bin out of the school and he wheels it into the nearby woods. He then returns back to the school after 25 minutes, without the bin, and is not wearing socks or shoes. He is also wearing jeans with possible blood stains on them. He then goes into another bathroom, changes his clothes again, and after leaving the bathroom, he then leaves the school for the final time. The girl seen leaving the toilets in a hurry later came out to say that she had gone in there to use the toilets, but saw that one of the toilet stall doors was open with someone inside who was naked from the waist down and that their clothes were on the floor, so she had assumed someone was getting changed and decided to leave to give that person privacy. The boy in the CCTV was identified as Philip Chisholm, and after reviewing the footage, police decided that they needed to urgently track him down. A major search of the local woods was started that night in their search for Colleen Ritzer. After midnight, a member of the public called police to say they had seen someone acting suspiciously, a young man who was walking down the highway with his hood pulled up. Police got there immediately, and after speaking with the young man, they identified him as Philip Chisholm. They searched him and found he had a knife with dried blood on it, and after searching his backpack, they found a box cutter with blood on it, a mask and Colleen's credit cards and her ID and a pair of women's underwear. Police questioned him about the items and he said that he had seen them on the floor outside and realized it was his teacher's, so had taken them so he could return the items back to her the next day. Police knew this wasn't true, so continued asking questions, and he then claimed he had instead broken into Colleen's car so he could steal all of her items. Police asked him where all of this blood had come from and he said, the girls. Police transported him to Danver's police station where his mum was waiting for him and took him in for questioning, by now the early hours of the morning. Around 3 a.m., police who were searching the woods looked under a pile of leaves and saw the dead body of Colleen Ritzer, who was laying there naked from the waist down, with a tree branch still inside her, covered in blood and her throat slit. A note was next to her body that read, "I hate you all." After the autopsy was performed, it was found that Colleen had been strangled and been stabbed 16 times, had 3 blood vessels severed and had been raped and also been assaulted by a tree branch. It was also said by the pathologist that Colleen might have been alive during the full ordeal and only died after bleeding out slowly as she lay in the woods and was possible too injured to get up. It came out that after Philip Chisholm had dumped his teacher's body in the woods, he had taken her credit card and used it to go to the cinema and then bought himself dinner at a Wendy's restaurant and walked for 5 miles until he was stopped by police. Police were confused as to why he had chosen to rape and murder his maths teachers, so police interviewed another student who had been in the classroom that Colleen had been in before she went to the toilet. That day, Colleen had asked Philip to stay back after school so she could talk to him about any problems he may be having. The other student, a girl named Autumn, had also been asked to stay back in the classroom and had heard their conversation that day. Colleen was asking Philip if he was settling into the school okay and how he was finding everything, how he was coping, and Autumn said that Philip was replying normally. Colleen then began to ask him about his life where he lived before in Tennessee, before he had moved over here, and asked how he was coping with his parents' divorce. This was when Philip became moody and angry, so Colleen then began to try and cheer him up, but he stayed in an angry mood, so Colleen decided to go to the toilet and Philip then followed her. After hearing this and seeing all of the evidence, police charged Philip Chisholm with Colleen's murder and he was taken to a youth detention center. While at the youth detention center, he followed a female member of staff into a storeroom and attacked her physically with his hands and used a sharp pencil. After screaming for help, other members of staff were able to stop the attack. He went to trial in 2015 and was being tried as an adult, where he pled not guilty. He was found guilty of the rape and murder of Colleen Ritzer but was found not guilty for the rape charge based on the tree branch. He was sentenced to 40 years in prison and will be first eligible for parole in 2055.